HBCUs are more than a trend.
Yeah.
We're forever a part of the culture. HBCU Pulse always has you on lock. From the shade room to your favorite news feed, and now on your TV and radio. We are.
Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Welcome everyone to another edition of In the Spotlight right here on HBCU Pulse Radio, your go-to for everything HBCU. And of course, I'm your host MC Back. Got a new hairstyle now. I'm trying out something new, and I'm so excited because we have a very, very special guest today. She goes by the one and only Miss Arnika Frazier-Jackson. She is the director of the UNCF Student Professional Development Programs. Now, gotta tell y'all a little bit about it in case you don't, right? So, Miss Arnika Frazier-Jackson, the director of UNCF Student Professional Development Programs, she leads the Panda Care Scholars Program, which develops processes and systems to support the successful implementation of the suite of programs to prepare students for professional development. If you did not take the SAT, you may not know a lot of these words, but it's okay. I'm gonna help y'all. While managing programming for the now 750 student population under the Panda Cares umbrella, she also serves the team in strategic planning of new programs and learning initiatives for UNCF's internship talent pool. She's a champion for young professionals in the organization. Arnika also serves as a committee member of Young Professionals Affinity Group, working to cultivate a new generation of donors for UNCF while providing development for leadership training for her colleagues. As you can see, this is a wonderful woman who deals with a lot of SAT words. So I'm going to bring her to the stage and let her explain everything and talk to us about her journey working with UNCF. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Miss Arnika Jackson. Miss Jackson, you and the SAT words.
Thank you so much for having me. Listen, that's just a lot of words to say that I am passionate about getting students opportunities and making sure that HBCUs stay on the map. That's it. That's all.
Thank you so much. Well, Miss Jackson, how are you doing today? Let's start there.
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Happy to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here as well. I can't complain. It's nice early in the mornings when they say the early bird gets that worm. So I'm feeling good today.
Well, that's good.
Can you just start us off by talking to us about how you even got involved with the United Negro College Fund? How did that journey start for you?
Oh, man. So it actually started with the Gates Millennium Scholars Program, which is a program that was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Each year I used to work with my colleagues to recruit cohorts of 1,000 students from across the country to be able to go to school and be debt free, right? So that was in 2009. It is now 2024, and I am still with the organization. And so in this particular role, I have the honor and privilege of traveling around the country, meeting with corporate executives, as well as going on HBCU campuses to shine the light on opportunities that are available through internship and entry-level positions, which brings me to you today to talk about the Walt Disney Company UNCF Scholars Program.
Okay, so tell me, what would you say were some pivotal moments that helped you get to where you are today, right? Some really big moments that led us to this interview, that led to the position you're in life right now, some of those moments.
Oh, man. Okay, so I would say working with a mentor, right? So when I started at Florida A&M University, I'm a proud Rattler. I bleed orange and green. I started out in broadcast journalism. I was working at a television station, busting scripts and all the things, working in the morning show. And I was like, I don't know if I want to keep waking up at 3:00 in the morning, not really having a life. You can't, spend the holidays with your families and things like that. And I distinctly remember being in my dean's office and filling out, back in the day, like we didn't have all the automated things. I'm dating myself now, but we used to have to fill out papers for our schedule. And a professor by the name of Gina Kinchlow, who is now my mentor, she is the GOAT in public relations, walked up to me and she said, "I thought you said you didn't want to go into broadcast journalism anymore." And I was like, "Well, I don't, but," and I started running down the things that I want to do. She was like, "Well, that's public relations." And I was like, "Oh, never heard of public relations." I'm a small town, big town girl, I guess, however you look at Jacksonville, Florida. Went to Rains High School. Shout out to my high school. They're big in football, state champions. So happy about that. Never heard about PR. And so we started talking, and I took my first couple of classes in PR. Absolutely loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, I found my people. Like, this is where I belong. And that started my trajectory in where I am today. I was an Inroads intern, and started volunteering to recruit other Inroads interns into for summer internships. And I love that work. And I guess I just kind of landed in that space because I always wanted to give back, right? And I always tell people, whatever your hobby is, try to figure out how to make it, something that's profitable for you or something that you can turn into a job. And so for me, it was, being around the HBCU environment and the community. I absolutely love every campus that I walk on. There's always so much history, so much love, so much pride. And I wanted to do something that I could bring opportunities, like opportunities were brought to me. And so here I am now, almost 16 years later with UNCF, working in this capacity as the Director for Student Professional Development Programs.
That is amazing. That is definitely amazing. I truly appreciate your appreciation for HBCU life and culture, especially with you coming from FAMU. What would you say were some of the tools that FAMU has given you to be able to do what you do today, right? Some of the things that you could have only learned there.
Networking. So I learned the art of networking at FAMU. I was in student government. I did a lot of the different clubs and organizations. And one of the things they always told us was, the person that is sitting to your left and to your right is going to be the person in your network that you will need one day. And that is so much the case, these days. I can pick up the phone now and call corporate executives that I went to school with. I can pick up the phone and call creatives that I went to school with to work on projects. And, we try to keep one another uplifted. And it really is that power of networking. And then also keeping a paper trail, learned that working with financial aid, keeping that paper trail, making sure you keep everything, every email, every receipt, all the things. All the things. So, and then also just being humble, right? Because just as much as you want to be the person that is doing an interview, you need to be the same person that will pick up a box and, unbox and put together an event, roll your sleeves up. All of those things are important to be, well-rounded. So those are some of the things that I learned on campus.
That is dope. That is dope. Again, shout out to my rattlers, my orange and green rattlers. Shout out to FAMU. Can you talk to us a little bit about what inspired the Panda Care Scholars Program, and then just some of the biggest successes that have come from that program?
Yeah, so the Panda Care Scholars Program, as it is now, has sunset. But what we were working on was helping students to build their professional development decorum. Mm-hmm. And being able to see beyond the traditional career trajectories, right? And so, which is, it's a full circle moment now, being able to work with the Walt Disney Company, because they are looking for students that are wanting to go into the entertainment industry, but not necessarily, to be an actor or to be the person that is, seen on stage, right? They're looking for people who are interested in all the business units that happen behind the camera, including being a director and being a journalist, right? All of those things are important to them. But with Panda, we were able to touch roughly 1,500 students to be able to help them erase some financial barriers and also introduce them to some phenomenal career opportunities that they did not know existed. So that's always, I always love to see that light bulb or that light shine in the students' eyes, right, once they realize, like, oh my gosh, like I thought I had to piecemeal my career together, when there's actually something out there that is in complete alignment with what they want to do.
I think, and that was just literally the next point about the Walt Disney Company and partnering with you all to provide a platform for HBCU students. I think that's really necessary.
Yes.
Especially because it's something different. in the market. It's not your typical scholarship program, like you say. It's covering all the bases, like not just for your regular actors, but hey, you want to be behind the scenes here or on this side of the camera, or this is a place for everyone to really earn their come up and learn the different tricks of the trades. I think that's dope. I think that's really dope.
I mean, it's so phenomenal. And it's not just like the internship and the scholarship, which is amazing. $5,000 once you're selected for the program. And then if you are successful in your internship, it's another $5,000 for the next academic year. They partner you with a mentor so that you're able to learn the culture and start to network with the folks at the Walt Disney Company. But they really are committed to ensuring that students get hired. So we've had, from the time I've been working with this program for the past 3 years, we've had 5 students that have actually been hired permanently who were a part of the program. So their commitment goes far beyond just giving the opportunity, which I think is great, right? So these internships are not just sit and take notes in a meeting and go grab coffee. Like they're actually working on projects. The students who are in the Roden Fellows program are able to travel. They went to All-Star Weekend to cover that. They went to the Celebration Bowl to cover that. So it is really and truly like giving them the experience of what they would have the opportunity to do if they were actually hired in those capacities.
I think I may need to find an application for this program. This is really amazing. I really think that this is the kind of thing that HBCU students, especially, we need within our community to be able to boost us, to be able to give us that program. This is my first time hearing about it, but this is really amazing. This is really
it really is. And one other point that because sometimes students are like, I don't know if I'm the right fit, for the program and things of that nature. Disney does not require a GPA for this program.
Oh, sign me up now.
Right. They really just want individuals who are passionate about the work, who will put in the work, and that really do have an aspiration to work for the Walt Disney Company. Because just as much as you're putting your time and investment into them, they're doing the same. And so for them, it's a win-win. Like you get the internship, they train you for the job that you want, and then you land the job. And then if you don't, end up working with the Walt Disney Company, that's fine as well. You still have a portfolio that you're able to walk away with and, take it wherever you may land within the entertainment industry, should that be your choice.
I think just being able to be affiliated and work and gain that knowledge, like you said, whether or not you get the job, you're still leaving with something.
Absolutely.
Because whether or not you get the job, you still were able to be a part of the program. You still were able to take in the knowledge, and then now you're able to take that, put on a resume, and then go apply the knowledge elsewhere. So I think it's a win-win. But listen, sign me up now. All you had to say was GPA. That's all you had to say. Now, I want to ask, is it like a year-round thing where students can always submit an application, or is it like a deadline at certain points?
Yeah, so the deadline is coming quite rapidly. So the deadline for the program is on October 1st. They can go and find the application on our website at uncf.org/the Walt Disney Company UNCF Scholars Program. I know that's a mouthful, but if you go on to opportunities.uncf.org and type in the Walt Disney Company, it'll also populate there for the application. But I always tell people, beat the deadline, don't meet the deadline. For students that are going into like the marketing and journalism, social media, there is a requirement for a portfolio, which students should have. We're looking for juniors and seniors that not necessarily have experience, but knows how to actually, do the things that they're applying to do, right? And so to have some type of practicum experience for this particular program. But it is for the summer of 2025. So what will happen is students will be notified before the holidays if they are selected. So by the close of this calendar year, they'll know if they're selected. Okay. They'll be matched with their mentors starting in February of 2025. And then there'll be a couple of sessions virtually that they'll have just to make sure that they are covered with all the things that they need. And then they will meet me first in Washington, D.C. with an all expense paid trip to our student leadership conference that will happen in May. And then at the beginning of June, they'll start their internship. The only caveat is for the students who are a part of the Roden Fellow Scholarship. That program is actually for an entire year. So that is a year commitment to the program. They'll do their summer internship in Bristol, Connecticut, and then they will go on to their respective campuses and then be able to turn in different assignments throughout the academic year, which they'll get paid for as well. So all of the internships, I should mention, are paid. This isn't volunteer time, and it's competitive pay. So it's based upon the industry that you're going into, will be how you're compensated. And then because the Walt Disney Company is just so phenomenal, students who make it as semi-finalists, depending on how well they score on their application, will also receive a $2,500 scholarship should they not be selected, just as, them acknowledging the work that actually went into the application for them to make it to that step. And just because the hiring manager may not feel that they're in alignment with the position, they still want to acknowledge the work and effort that went into them applying for the program.
Oh, this is truly one of a kind. I've never heard where, we can't pick you right now, but we still gonna give you some money just for even trying.
Exactly. And then, I have seen students who have received that $2,500 scholarship and taken advantage of some of the programs that they offer them to prepare them for maybe potentially next year, land an internship. So they really are committed to, ensuring that if students are interested, whatever their interest may be, that they, hold on to them. They really try to build a family with this program. So truly excited to be a part of it.
This is, like I said, this is really amazing. And as we're talking about, internships, it's really important, of course, for students in that junior and senior year to start looking. Never to say it's never too early, because there are some that would take maybe the freshman or the sophomore, but I know a lot of internships really focus on that junior and senior year because you're getting ready to exit, to go into the real world. So what is some advice that you would give to students about when it comes to looking for internships, when it comes to applying for them, just everything about internships?
Yeah, absolutely. I just left the not student leadership conference, but the Empower Me Tour. UNCF has an Empower Me Tour that travels the country introducing HBCU culture across the country. And we just did our career preparedness or career readiness stop in Atlanta. And one of the panelists, Dalen Spratt, was like, never give up. He was talking specifically to his industry, which is in the entertainment industry, and just speaking about opportunities, right? Every opportunity that, that you can hone in or grab, take it. Even if you don't get the opportunity, the practice of applying for it really does make you better, right? So I would say any opportunity that you are interested in going for, do it. Don't allow yourself we sometimes can be our own worst enemy, because we will self-select ourselves out of opportunities because we feel like we don't meet a certain standard. Never do that. I think that during this period of time, especially in this climate, you can do anything. Really and truly, you can do anything. So I would say just apply for all of the opportunities that come your way. Anything that you think you may want to do, try it out. College is the time to do that, right? Because once the real responsibilities happen, once you cross that stage, you can't experiment with things anymore as much as you would like to.
A little harder to experiment now.
So I would just say, just make sure that you're doing that. And then, stay a part of the UNCF community. Students can go on to, I mentioned opportunities.uncf.org, but if you go on there and build your profile, we have opportunities all the time that are available, specifically our early talent opportunity program. And that's really where we train freshmen and sophomore students on how they can be prepared to start applying for these internships. And they also get, first dibs on some of these programs that are available because they get to meet with the corporate executives before anyone else, right? So they do summer trainings with them via webinar. And it really is a great summer experience just for you, to be able to polish up your skills and be prepared and ready. And you mentioned earlier, the early bird catches the worm.
Right.
Don't wait, don't wait. Like if even if you are a freshman or sophomore and there's a company that has an internship that you're interested in, reach out to that company, let them know like, hey, I know that, your requirements are for you to be a junior or senior, but I'm really interested in starting to get some experience now. You never know what could happen.
Right.
With the Walt Disney Company, even though we're looking for this particular program, we're looking for juniors and seniors, they have a college program where as long as you have one semester under your belt as a college student, you can go and work for Disney for the summer, right? And so it may be a little bit more of like being in front, with the guests and different things of that nature, but you still get access to the mentors. You still get access to, potentially hiring managers who will remember your name. So when it's time for you to get that professional internship, they can vouch for you. So I would definitely say lean into that and find a mentor, find a sponsor. Your mentor is someone that's going to hold your hand and help you through your career trajectory. Your sponsor is going to be somebody who is going to speak in rooms that you are not in. And so having one of those or having both of those will be monumental as far as your career is concerned. Because we all know these days it's not what you know, but who you know.
That is I go to Bowie State. And so being there, that was definitely one of the things that I learned, especially between like the sophomore and junior year, is that it's not always about what necessarily you can do and offer. And yes, that's a part of it, but having someone else to be able to speak on behalf of that and to mention your name in rooms sometimes when you're not there, that really goes a long way. And then another thing my mother always told me is that nothing beats a failure but a try, right? So if you don't try, if you don't apply yourself, the worst thing you can get is a no. But that doesn't mean the end of the world, life is over. Like, you get a bunch of no's sometimes until you finally get that yes that cracks the code. So I definitely love everything. Can you talk a little bit? I know you said that the UNCF offers some other programs, and I know that you mentioned about with the Walt Disney collaboration, there was a couple of success stories, but can you talk about any success stories of students from some of the other programs that UNCF offers?
Sure. So we have, UNCF has over 1,000 opportunities for students at any given time. So a couple of the programs that are now available is the K-12 Fellows Program, which is phenomenal for students that are interested in going into education. They actually get to work at charter schools and learn how to build out their own charter school, which I think is amazing.
Wow.
And so we do have success stories with that. A couple of our students have actually started their own, which is great. When we do have, we work with Chevron, we work with Fandle, Papa John's. Papa John's actually did hire a couple of our interns, which was good on last year. So the programming that we provide through student professional development really is to help the students understand their power and help them to lean into the internship, right? Because that's where you're going to figure out, like the internship, I say, is just a long interview process, right? Yeah. And so not only are they able to meet you and know you as a person, they're going to see how you fit in with the team. They're going to see how you fit in with the culture. So if you are really, leaning in and trying to understand those things, they're gonna make you an offer by the end, right? Because you're putting in the effort and they already know that you can do the work, which is the reason why they hired you to be an intern in the first place. So I would say, like, as far as success stories, we have a host of them. And it goes beyond just the internships. We have students that receive scholarships through our STEM programs that go off and do they do like these hackathons where they work with companies over in Silicon Valley and, are able to kind of put their name out there, right? Because we know it's real hard to penetrate that market. We have students that work in our Ernest E. Just program that are interested in going into the biopharma industry. So not necessarily doing pharmaceutical sales, but actually working in the labs where they build, all of the products for the pharmaceutical companies. And so students have been doing that for the past 3 years, and that has been phenomenal in the Boston market. So it's a host of things. And so I would just say for any student that is interested in trying to figure out where they fit in, find their niche, be a part of the UNCF family, and we will help you find it.
Shout out to the UNCF family, man. This is it. It sounds like there's literally something for everyone. Like
it really is.
Whatever
Yes.
you're trying to go into to further yourself within this world, within your career. Hey, we got you over here. We got you over here. We got you in the back over there. Like this is dope. This is
yeah.
dope.
We what we say is you get out what you put in. So if you are that student that's like, I applied to this program, I didn't get in, but I want to try to do X, Y, and Z, we'll help you find your way. Right. It is solely what you put into it and making us a part of your network.
Can you talk about, because we're talking about, right, applying yourself to be able to go into your career, and we understand that the job market is a competitive market, and that when it comes to inflation, and I went to the grocery store recently, bought like 8 things that came with like $80 or so. So we know that students, of course, want to go to where the money is. Can you talk about some key skills, whether soft and hard skills that are needed when it comes to applying for jobs and just trying to get your foot into whatever you want to go in terms of career?
So definitely for anyone that is trying to go into this market, you got to be a good writer. I don't care what your career aspirations are. Being able to articulate yourself in writing is going to get you a long way. And then also utilizing the social platforms, utilizing LinkedIn, utilizing Facebook, especially like if you're looking for jobs, and start asking for informational interviews, right? So if you find someone that you can connect with them on a level of, if they're from your hometown, if they're from if they attended your institution, if they're in the field that you're interested in going in, get you a form letter together and just start sending out emails or messages on those platforms. And I will tell you, in LinkedIn, a lot of my colleagues and folks that are in my network will reach back out and say, hey, yeah, I can give you 15 minutes so that you can learn a little bit more about, what I do. I would say stay on top of the trends that are happening. I know trends are called trends for a reason. However, if you're able to say, hey, I can offer you, right now, AI is like huge, right? So if you know how to talk to the bot to get, graphics out the way that they need to be, or, building projects out that, eliminate time, then, say those as things that you can offer. Find out what your tangible skill sets are that you can offer to a company. And then don't be afraid to build your own, right? And so, oftentimes we look to go and work for companies because we want to build, which is great. I definitely think that you get a lot out of working for different organizations. But if it's something that is just not right, it's something that is just not in the perfect alignment with what you want to do, get you a side hustle. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's something that is yours, right? Something that belongs to you. And then, you work, you have your 9 to 5, and then you have your 5 to 9, right? And so you work those two to be able to build. I know this generation wants to be millionaires, tomorrow. That's not necessarily going to happen. I say, build realistic goals, but set you out a 5-year plan. There should always be a 5-year, a 10-year, and a 15-year plan. And then you work that, right? Because you can't really go in like you don't go to some people do. I was gonna say you don't go to the grocery store without a list, right? But you don't go to class without knowing what your curriculum is, right? You don't start your college career without knowing that you're going to be there for 4 years and what those 4 years should look like. So you should do the same thing for your professional career and what you want to do. So 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Write that out. Write the vision, make it plain. 10 years, where do you want to go? 15 years, what does that look like? And then you work that plan, right? And it may not go exactly how you want it to go. That trajectory may not look like what you put down on paper, but at least you have a guide now that you're able to move forward with, and not just, start doing things haphazardly and blindly, hoping that you get the result that you're looking for.
I think that's so important in terms of making a plan for yourself, right? Whatever the plan may be. And like you said, even though sometimes you may get a little off track, it's part of life. It's part of just being human. Right. But if you at least have a plan, you have something to at least try to stick by. What would you say are, if you can share, some of the new programs or innovations that UNCF has on the horizon that we should probably look out for?
I would say look out for things that are going to come out for students who are interested in going into finance,
Nice.
for students who are interested in going into supply chain management. And what else do we have? And also students that are like interested in the sports industry and all the new things that are happening now in sports, like that's going to be something within like the next couple of months that will be on the website that you can learn more about. But exciting things. And I think I'm just excited that these companies are now understanding and valuing the education that students get at HBCUs and wanting to harness that magic. So I am really looking forward to what things to come down that pipeline.
Is there any way that, because I know that with all that UNCF is doing, of course, it may never hurt to just have some help from people, right? So is there any way that students or potential donors can get involved and support UNCF's mission?
Oh, absolutely. There are plenty of ways to get involved. All of those are listed on the website at uncf.org. It could be from monetary donations to reaching out to the local offices. We have local and regional offices across the country where we do walks for education. There are galas. There are book bag drives. There are all kinds of things that happen all over the country on behalf of UNCF. So I would say the best way to do that is to go online, uncf.org. You can find out how to donate there. And then you can also find a office that is, in your area that you can reach out to find out more about how you can help. So there are always opportunities to volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers for something.
Sure. I know with so many opportunities for students to apply, I know you may need a lot of cooks in the kitchen to help cook up the meal and whatnot.
Absolutely. And you were saying that you were at Bowie State. One of the programs with the Walt Disney Company is National Geographic. The content, the National Geographic program. So I would say if there are students at Bowie State that are interested in going into that world, they should definitely look out for that. And so if there are folks that are interested in going into that Nat Geo world, just have them to send me an email, and then I will send them, because that is invitation only. So I'll send them out that information. My email, they can send it to the just send it to my email. It's arnika.jackson@uncf.org. So that's ARNIKA.Jackson, like Michael, at uncf.org. And I'll send that link right over to you. So that's students that are attending Bowie State, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Cheney, and Hampton.
Nice. Okay.
And Howard, of course.
Got you. The last thing, and then we can start wrapping them soon, but where UNCF is today, right? With the sports and finance programs on the horizon, with where you are now with the Walt Disney Company, with just all of the different, I guess you could say, hands that UNCF has its pot in. What do you think in terms of the involvement of the UNCF? Like something that you're looking forward to possibly coming in the future or expanding into this territory? Again, I know you mentioned about sports and finance, but just talk to me about what you see for UNCF and just the long-term vision and goals.
Oh, man. So, this year we are celebrating 80 years of UNCF. And so we have done so much. We actually just released an economic impact report of HBCUs. I do have a few stats that I thought were amazing. So HBCUs generate $16.5 billion, with a B, not an M, in direct economic impact for this country. And not only that, but they also help to produce over 136,000 job opportunities. So I think that having those numbers and seeing how many students UNCF has been able to support. We are, for students, for African-American students, we are, outside of financial aid, the top supporters for financial resources for students attending HBCUs. So we are truly committed to that North Star, which is to remove those financial barriers for students and help them to actualize what their future should be. Right. So within the next 20 years, because I'm betting that we're going to hit 100 within the next 20, within those next 20 years, I think that UNCF will be the mechanism that HBCUs will come to ensure that we are continuing the capacity building and making sure that HBCU education does not go away, because it's so very much needed. On the campus, as you know, at Bowie State, like when you're on those campuses, that is where you can be your authentic self. And so, for the 4 years, 5 years, however many years you decide to stay on that campus, right, you are really building who you should be, right? And being authentically you without having anybody to tell you what you should do, what you should look like, and be able to find yourself. So I think that UNCF will continue to be that conduit for HBCUs and continue to help these Fortune 500 companies and companies as a whole understand the importance of HBCU education, and for the nation to continue to acknowledge the contributions that we have put into building this country.
Miss Jackson, you have I'm sure you definitely blessed me. I'm going to say that because I'm definitely applying for the Walt Disney. But just the information that you're giving us about all that UNCF is doing and just your contribution, how you're helping to make the mission come to life. Thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge, just everything that you have given us today. Listen, y'all go to uncf.org and apply for these things, man. They there for you for a reason. Okay, go ahead and apply yourself there.
Thank you so much for having me. And make sure that if you're applying that you beat that deadline of October 1st so that you can be in the number for that talent pool. And then, uncf.org / the Walt Disney Company UNCF Scholars Program.
Everyone, Miss Arnika Fraser Jackson, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, MC, for having me.
No problem at all. Listen, everyone, once again, shout out to Miss Jackson. Sorry, Miss Jackson. How does it? No, I'm kidding. But listen, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another edition of In the Spotlight right here on HBCU Pulse Radio. I have been your host, MC, and this is definitely your go-to for everything HBCU. Till next time, we'll see you.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to hbcupulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.